In Feng Shui, moving to a new home is seen as an important milestone that should be handled with care because this is the moment when a family begins daily life in a new living space. A change of residence also means a change in the living environment, the way energy flows are arranged, and the order inside the home. Because of that, what happens on the day you move into a new house is often given special importance, especially the opening rituals that help establish order, stabilize daily life, and create a foundation for the next chapter of the whole family. And in today's video, I will share with you the things you should definitely do when moving house to welcome good luck and reduce unwanted problems right from the very first days. If you're getting ready to move into a new home and still have questions about what you should do on the first day you move in, leave a comment right below. I will read them and do my best to answer your questions in upcoming videos. Now let us get back to the main topic, what you should do when moving house to bring good luck and avoid bad luck following you. The first thing to do is pick the right time to move in. The first thing I want to remind you of when preparing to move is to check the move-in time carefully. In Feng Shui, this is a very important first step because the moment the homeowner officially enters the house is also when the home begins a new flow of energy. That is why the moving date and time should be chosen properly, in line with the traditional calendar and Feng Shui principles. When checking the date, do not just see a good day on the calendar and choose it right away. The right way is to follow the proper order. First, look for days that are clearly marked as suitable for moving into a new home. This matters because in the traditional calendar, each day has its own list of things that are good to do and things to avoid. Some days are good for weddings, some are good for opening a business, and some are specifically for moving house. So first narrow it down to the right moving days, then look at the other factors. Once you have those suitable days, check whether the day clashes with the homeowner's age sign. Many calendars clearly list the clash sign for that day. If it clashes with the age sign of the main person in the household, usually the head of the family, it is best to skip it. The simplest way is this: pick the days that are good for moving first, remove the days that clash with the homeowner, and then consider what is left. That is a more practical and traditional way than only looking at whether the day is considered auspicious. As for the time of day, the preferred window is usually from morning to early afternoon. A simple rule is to move in sometime between 7 in the morning and before 3 in the afternoon, with 9 to 11 in the morning being even better if possible. This is because it is bright, full of yang energy, and suitable for opening the doors, bringing things inside, doing the house entering ritual, turning on the stove, and arranging the first essentials. Moving in after dark is usually less preferred because in Feng Shui, the first day in a new home should begin with light, positive energy and order. You should also understand one more thing to avoid choosing the date the wrong way. An auspicious day is only one good sign, but it is not enough by itself. A proper moving day should meet at least 3 conditions. It should be suitable for moving into a new home, it should not clash with the homeowner's age sign, and the move-in time should be during the day, ideally from morning to early afternoon. If you follow all 3 steps, you will have a timing method that is both quite accurate in traditional Feng Shui and easy to apply in real life. The second thing to do is clean and clear the whole space before bringing anything in. This is a step many people rush through or even skip. They get the house and move their belongings in right away, but in reality, for a house to feel comfortable, it should first be opened up, cleaned, and aired out. First, the flow of energy needs to be opened. In Feng Shui, a home is a place that receives and directs energy. The main door is the first point where energy enters, while windows, walkways, and connecting areas are where that energy continues to move through the house. So when you first receive the home, one of the first things to do is open the necessary doors and windows so energy can enter and spread clearly through the space. After that, the next step is to clean the house and clear any spots that may block the energy flow. In Feng Shui, if a space is still dusty, the walkways are cluttered, corners are stuffy, or the entrance is blocked, energy enters more slowly and can get stuck in the wrong places. That is why, before bringing furniture in, many homeowners clean the floors, clear the walking paths, and fix blocked areas around the front door, windows, and the connecting points between rooms. The goal is to make the energy path through the house open and smooth before the belongings come in. Once the space has been opened and cleaned, many families then smoke the house. In Feng Shui custom, this is meant to clear out old or mixed energy and mark the beginning of a new rhythm of life in the home. Using agar wood, soapberry pods, cinnamon, or other fragrant herbs is quite common. What matters is that this step should only be done after the space has already been opened and tidied, because Feng Shui always gives priority to clearing the energy pathways first, then balancing the energy field inside the home. The third thing to do is bring in something with a good meaning when you first enter the new home. People in the past believed that whatever you carry into the house on the first day is the first signal the home receives. That is why many families avoid entering empty-handed when moving into a new place. The items people often bring first are rice, salt, clean water, money, fire, or things connected to daily living and abundance. Rice and salt represent the household's basic livelihood. Water stands for flow and the source of life. Money symbolizes a good start for prosperity. Fire, or anything tied to the kitchen, represents the beginning of daily life and the warmth of family life. If the family has an altar, many homes also bring in the memorial tablet, incense burner, or worship items in the proper order to establish the worship space in the new home. In Feng Shui, the meaning is simple. The first things brought into the house represent what the homeowner wants to set in place from the start. That is why people choose items linked to abundance, stability, prosperity, and order, instead of letting the move begin in an empty or chaotic way. This is also why many families pay close attention to what they are holding when they step through the front door for the first time. Usually the first person to enter is the homeowner or the main person in charge of the household. After that, the other family members follow, and each person may carry an item with a lucky meaning. What matters here is not making it complicated, but making sure that the first step into the home is intentional, orderly, and meaningful in Feng Shui. In traditional thinking, that is how the house begins receiving the family's energy in a more favorable way from the very beginning. The fourth thing to do is perform the house entering ritual with proper respect. In Feng Shui and traditional worship customs, the house entering ritual is the step that confirms a family has officially moved into a new space. It is a way of announcing the homeowner's presence in the new home while also marking the beginning of a household with its own daily rhythm and worship order. Feng Shui sees a home as a place that receives and circulates energy, so the moment the homeowner officially enters, offers incense, says the prayer, and begins living there is considered a very important starting point. Traditionally, this ritual carries two meanings at the same time. One is to respectfully inform the local deities and land spirits of the new place and ask permission to begin living there. The other is to inform the ancestors that the family has moved to a new home and will continue its household traditions there. So the value of this ritual does not depend on whether it is done on a large or small scale. What matters is doing it in the proper order, with the right meaning and with the respect the first day deserves. From a Feng Shui point of view, this ritual also marks the home's official use. Before that moment, the new house is still just a physical space. Once the homeowner enters, presents the offerings, lights incense, starts the kitchen, sets up the altar, and begins the first household activities, the house truly becomes a lived-in home with the family's own energy field. That is why the house entering ritual is considered such an important part of the moving process, because it is tied to settling into the home, not just to a formal procedure. As for the offerings, each family can prepare them based on its actual situation, but the general rule is still to keep everything clean, neat, and respectful. A simple offering tray with incense, flowers, clean water, fruit, and suitable offerings is enough for the ritual. Whether the home is large or small, a house or an apartment, whether the ceremony is done fully or simply, it can all be adjusted to fit. What matters most is that the ritual is carried out clearly, with a proper beginning, a prayer, and the first steps of daily life in the home. The fifth thing to do is make the house feel lived in on the very first day. This is a point many people overlook. Some homes already have all the furniture moved in, but they still feel cold, empty, and lifeless. That is because having belongings inside does not automatically create warmth. For the house to start changing its energy and feel easier to live in, it needs real signs of daily life. One of the first things people usually do is start the kitchen. In home feng shui, the kitchen is closely tied to yang energy, daily routine, and the family's way of life. That is why boiling the first kettle of water, cooking the first meal, or at least lighting the stove is often seen as an important first step. Once the kitchen starts being used, the house also begins to take on a real living rhythm rather than just being occupied in name. Along with that, lighting should also be set up right away. In feng shui, the first day in a new home should favor yang energy, and light is one of its clearest signs. So many families keep the lights on during the first night, especially in the living room, kitchen, hallways, and the main parts of the house. The purpose is not just to make the home brighter, but to prevent a still, heavy feeling and help activate the energy in the key areas. If possible, the homeowner should also create one complete daily activity on the first day, such as boiling water, making tea, or preparing the first meal in the new house. In feng shui, these actions help establish real occupancy, because from that point on, the house has an active kitchen, light, people using it, and a clear daily rhythm. This is an important step in settling the home's energy, because the energy of a house becomes more stable when the space is used properly and people are truly present in it. But doing the right things is still not enough. On moving day, there are also small mistakes that can easily disrupt that good beginning. Here are some things that are best avoided. The first is dropping or breaking items while entering the home and moving things inside. In symbolic feng shui, intact objects represent fullness and stability, while chips and breakage on the first day are often seen as an unfavorable sign for a new beginning. So homeowners are usually advised to move carefully, carry things securely, bring in the essentials first, and keep the moving process neat and orderly. The point is not superstition, but avoiding signs of damage at the very start of life in the new home. The second is bringing too many broken, cracked, chipped, or unusable items into the new house. In feng shui, things like cracked mirrors, broken glass, dead appliances, chipped bowls, and plates or clocks that no longer run are often seen as signs of interrupted, incomplete, or stagnant energy. Feng shui guidance for the home also tends to place damaged details like broken windows, cracked glass, or worn-out items in the group of things that should be repaired or removed, because they create an unfinished feeling in the living space. So before moving day, it is best to sort through your belongings carefully, keep what still works, and remove anything that has long been broken or carries that sense of damage. Another point to keep in mind is to limit pregnant women from directly taking part in heavy moving work or the opening steps of the move. Some feng shui guidance on moving house also notes that if there is a pregnant woman in the family, the household should be especially careful and, when possible, avoid having her directly involved in the move unless truly necessary. Finally, I just want to say this. Moving house is the start of a new chapter for the whole family. So to welcome good luck and avoid unwanted things, choose a suitable day, bring items that symbolize abundance, clean the space well, and most importantly, keep a happy spirit. If you still have any questions about moving house, choosing the date, or what to do on the first day, leave a comment below. I will read them and share more in the next videos.